in which it's hot. And it's going to get hotter, and then it's going to stay hot for a little while. And Howie Harkema from Encompass Yamhill and many other things is here. And I've asked Howie if he can explain what's happening with the cooling centers around the county and how people in the community, how Mayor Watkins, how the dear folks of the city of Amity can help. So what we have, and I need to let Mayor Rogers in, and I think he's calling me to tell me that he needs to be let in. So excuse me. But with us today, we have Mayor Linda Watkins from the city of Carlton. I'm Casey Kula, Yamhill County Commissioner. We have Howie Harkema from Encompass Yamhill Valley. We have Pauline Metoxen from NAMI and Encompass Yamhill Valley. And we have Mayor Rick Rogers from the city of Newburgh. Woo! You made it just in the nick of time, back from the heat. And and we also have some folks with us from the city of Amity. So welcome everybody today. And Mayor Rogers, I apologize. I'm going to send it over to Howie Harkema to get us started with an update on cooling centers, because above all, we need to keep people healthy and safe in the heat wave ahead. And then we'll go to mayoral updates, including what your county or what your cities are doing and how trails are as well. We might touch on trails. So Howie, with that, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Kula, very much for allowing us to participate on this Zoom of the Leadership Roundtable. So far, we have in Mcminnville, we have Yamhill County Gospel Rescue Mission. They're going to be open Wednesday through Saturday, August 11th through the 14th, from noon to 8. Then we have Mcminnville Public Library. They'll be open Wednesday through Saturday, August 11th through the 14th, from 11 to 6 p.m. First Baptist Church is opening Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and with an option of Saturday if need be. So they're open August 11th through the 13th from noon till 9 p.m. They'll have water and Gatorade and snacks and fruit. The city of Mcminnville has once again jumped in and assisted us with water stations at Wortman Park, Joe Dancer Park, City Park. In Newburgh, we have the Newburgh Emergency Shelter open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, August 11th through the 13th from 1 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. We have Youth Outreach, which is open 11 to 9 p.m., August 11th through the 13th. Then we have Newburgh Public Library open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, August 11th through the 14th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We had a new David Case at Northwest Christian Church Newburgh campus is going to be open Thursday and Friday, August 12th and 13th from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. and 2nd Street Drop-In Center Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, August 11th through the 13th from 10 a.m. to noon. We have free bus rides across Yamhill County thanks to the YCTA. Thank you very much, Cynthia and her wonderful group. And we have Dial-A-Ride for Mcminnville and Dial-A-Ride for Newburgh. And that's where we're at as of today. Any questions?
Awesome. Thank you, Howie. Questions for Howie? How can you get involved?
I just got a big thank you for Howie and for getting this going, and Casey, for you too, Commissioner, and for getting it all. Thank you for putting out the flyer as well that we can get out to our channels as well, make sure people know. But yeah, really, that's been fantastic. So thank you. Thanks so much, Howie. What else do you need, do you think? How are we looking otherwise? What else?
I think that we're doing okay. My only question is the outlying areas such as West Valley and Yamhill Carlton, maybe Dayton. I know that they've had minimum use, so therefore we weren't pushing real hard to get those outlying areas to open a shelter. I was talking with Linda Watkins this morning, and I had gotten a hold of Mayor Yvette Potter in Yamhill and last time that they opened at the high school, they only had 2 people utilize that for the 3 days period. So it probably is not worth it. The smaller townships seem to really help their neighbors quite well without having to open a cooling shelter to do such. So I'm very proud of that too. Thank you, Linda, and thank you, Yvette, and thank you, Amity. I hope that you have something similar going on in your township as well.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
we had cooling shelters set up, I know, and we had people on standby to do transport if needed, but there were no requests. So we hope everybody made it. Well, we know they did. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, it worked out fine. So we'll just hope for the best this next few days.
Yes.
And it looks like the city of Amity says that they don't have anything available at this moment.
Yeah. Maybe they can participate. There's likely to be one yet this summer. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. And how do you feel? Do you feel confident, or you feel like you have the ability to get volunteers if spaces in, say, the smaller cities are available? Because I know that at least in the West Valley, that's been their stumbling block. Is how do we have spaces open when we don't have people for them?
Casey, you and I have talked about this, and we'd like to do a reach out to the West Valley and start promoting the cooling and warming shelters for the winter as well, and finding a volunteer base out there so we don't have to send people from Mcminnville or Newburgh or outside of the area. So I think it's a matter of that. But you also brought up the other day of reaching out to the state for possibly getting some air conditioning units for those as well. And that would be an absolute must prior to us finding the volunteer base at the West Valley to do that.
Right. Although, so yes, the West Valley Community Campus for sure needs air conditioning. But we do have both the West Valley, the Willamina, and the Sheridan fire stations as well that just need volunteers in order to have. So those are really good starting points. And it looks like Mayor Watkins, Mayor Rogers, and the city of Amity have all unmuted themselves.
All right, I guess I'll start. So I just wanted to underscore, particularly, for folks that are living in the communities served by Dial-A-Ride, if you are experiencing heat in your place of residence, particularly our friends in manufactured homes, please pick up the phone and call Dial-A-Ride. Please get us, get to a place that's cool, because those are the ones that are really, aside, of course, our houseless friends, but next is folks that, may not have, cooling and that kind of thing. Please do reach out. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And the buses and Dial-A-Ride are both air conditioned as well. So they will get you to the spaces. Howie, do you, now that we're on this, I know that you communicate with transit, but do transit operators, bus drivers know where the shelters are that are cooling?
I have sent it out to our typical scenarios, and one of those places was the YCTA, and hopefully they've gotten the flyer by now. They haven't gotten the Spanish one because I still haven't received it. However, they are.
Did I not send that to you? Apparently, I need to. I'm behind on my things.
It's all good. It's they're very informative to their clientele on YCTA. They let them know where the possibilities are and make sure that people are aware. So we couldn't thank YCTA for a better partnership, and Cynthia is just fantastic.
Yeah, truly. And then Mayor Watkins, was there anything you wanted to add? Okay, great. So Howie, as a follow-up, we're having 3 more very hot days coming up, possibly more. You have cooling shelter flyers available for people. Do you, Howie, want to send to the folks on the Leadership Roundtable the flyers as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
I'll do that right after this is done. Yeah.
Super. Great, thank you. Is there anything more you'd like us to know? And is there are there any financial needs that you're missing in the process? And I'm thinking long term as well.
Yeah, for sustainability for the cooling shelters and the winter shelters, of course, we do have to reach out for funding processes, whether that be individuals and families within the communities and or the county or the cities, to work with us to promote the need for supplies, maybe even talking to YCAP about allowing people to be paid to be at the cooling center for the Newburgh Emergency Center. There's a lot to all of this, and we're going to have to take it piece by piece. But I think we've done a heck of a job through this summer already. But yes, there is a need for financial support.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Howie. Especially when we're here talking about how much we need volunteers here and volunteers there. That if we have the ability to pay folks to be present in these spaces, that would be a tremendous help.
It isn't my hope that is the way it is, but I don't see the volunteerism jumping out at us quickly enough to support the need.
Yeah, absolutely. And Howie, I sent you the updated Spanish flyer.
Great.
Spanish language.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Doing too many things at once. At least nobody's calling me at the moment. Great. I'm going to go. And I also want to welcome, we have Heather Miller on behalf of the Mcminnville Downtown Association. And we have Jenny Burke on behalf of the Mcminnville Public Library as well. Welcome. And Holly Christensen with us as well. So thank you all for joining us. Hopefully you caught a little bit of what Howie was presenting on the cooling center front. I want to say Mcminnville Public Library has been amazing in being a consistent, welcoming space and also allowing distribution of food in their location. So thank you. And I'm going to get to you to do updates for the community because you've joined us. But I want to, before we go to mayors, Pauline, as part of the Cooling Center Collaborative, because we need names for things, is there anything you wanted to add?
I don't think so.
And then what's happening, is it tonight is the Mcminnville City Council presentation of the CARES Alliance, and can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, it's not from the CARES Alliance. Chief Scales is bringing law enforcement from Lane County to do some presentation about a CAHOOTS model. It's supposed to start at 5:30. That's all I know about it.
Okay, so this is not, Pauline, it's not related to CARES Alliance.
It is not. It's separate.
Okay, well, that's, the more the merrier. Hopefully we'll get something really effective out of all of it.
Hopefully.
Okay, thank you very much, Pauline, and thank you for all of your work. Mayor Watkins, what would you like to share with people for the city of Carlton and across the county? And how is the water system project going? And you're muted.
Technology is not my friend. Our water system is just going full steam ahead. I don't even know where we are now on our transmission line. We had 15,000, a little over 15,000 feet that we were going to have to replace of the transmission line. And the last I heard, we were at over 12,000 feet that they've already done. So that's just really exciting. The dredging, they've been moving the equipment up and getting ready to get started on the dredging for the reservoir. And in fact, we are now on Mcminnville's water. So that was, as far as I know, seamless. As of August the 4th, we switched over and had, everything was quiet. It just popped right in. So that's pretty exciting. Now our big challenge is our sewer, which we've been working on. We did receive $5 million from the state out of the it's kind of hard to, the ARPA funds went in and it got spread out to so many different places that I'm not sure exactly. I just know that our wonderful state representative Ron Noble put in a good word for us and pitched our cause. And with the governor's signing of the bill yesterday, we are looking at that for our much of our sewer. We still are
Mayor, I think I at least can't hear you. Mayor Rogers, can you hear? Man, technology.
Oh, now it says my internet connection is unstable. Can you hear me now?
We can, yeah.
It said my internet connection was unstable. No wonder Casey was giving me a hard time there. So I don't know where I dropped off, but
you are still waiting on other money. You have $5 million that's coming from the legislature, and then there was a pause. We're still waiting. We might need to come back to Mayor Watkins. But I think what she was going to say was she wants the county to give her money.
Well, can you hear me now? Is it speaking again? Okay. We only need $1 million to dredge our sewer ponds, but we're ready to go. We've got the shovels in the ground out there. So that's going to be our hopefully last big infrastructure project for this year. But DEQ is breathing out our necks.
And I'm going to check after the meeting with our congressional representatives, specifically since the infrastructure package passed in the Senate, the U.S. Senate this morning. So I'd like to find out what that means for your city.
Yeah, that's exciting.
The ink isn't dry, and obviously it hasn't been passed by the House and hasn't been signed by the president, but we still need to make sure that they know about it.
Yeah, that's exciting. And we really, really thank the county for the clearing work that's getting done on our railroad easement through town. It looks so much better, and I know they're going to be trying to do some more out there. But it's our fire chief is not hyperventilating over the fire danger quite so much. He was getting a little panicky, but yeah, it's really been nice. It's been great.
That's good. And I've really appreciated working with him too as the head of the Fire Defense Board. He's been really responsive and very helpful, especially around the firework issues.
Oh, Chief Lusage.
Way to go, Chief Lusage.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And he's actually kind of not our fire chief. It's the Yamhill Carlton Fire District. So,
right.
He's not city, but he's works really well with the city and things are going well. So
good. And he's spread out across a lot of north and central Yamhill counties.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I think that's probably enough. We've been busy.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, thank you for all of your work. And we'll figure out. Let's talk more about the sewer pond. And then Mayor Rogers, there's so much happening in the city of Newburgh. And what's going on? What was this thing we were walking on together today that I totally bailed on?
Yeah, no, you were walking on a trail, the proposed site of the bypass trail in Newburgh, eventually from Newburgh to Dundee and potentially places further to Shampooey and everything. So it's awesome. So that's exciting. It was good to see some sketches of plans and where this route might go, and the fact that there's actually money to build it, which is even more exciting. So that was good. That was fun. What else are we doing? We're talking about ARPA money and what we're going to do with that. So we're going to start to discuss how that might work, and we've already started to hear from various community organizations that would like to like to have a little bit of that money. I wish, Linda, we could extend $1 million over to you all, but might have trouble selling that to the people of Newburgh. Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work. So anyway, and let's see what else. Urban renewal. That's of course a topic that that Casey's now heard quite a bit about, and probably hear more about in the future. So we're trying to get that rolling out. Just I'll give an unabashed plug. I think it's absolutely essential for the Newburgh's future, and particularly for the development of the mill and the generation of family wage jobs, hopefully through traded sector companies. So that's what we're doing. And it looks like it may have to go to a vote of the people in November, the people in Newburgh anyway. So that's where we think we are. But anyway, and so any questions at all? Anybody has any questions about urban renewal, what it might do or not do? You know, please don't hesitate to ask me, ask the city council, ask staff. At some point, staff will not be able to answer any questions though once it goes to the ballot. But other than that, so those are the things that are going on. We got some interesting conversations going on with Providence, and particularly with some of our houseless friends. And I'll once that's a little more solid, we'll be happy to share that. So you know, other than that, we're trying to get through it all and you know do the right things and build trails when we can, I guess. So there we go. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mayor. Are there questions for the mayor? It looks like Howie has a question for you.
I do. I hear that there's an upcoming march against the school district over the Black Lives Matter and such. So I wanted you to talk about that, Rick.
Yeah, well, the school board will be discussing that this evening, I believe. I think it's scheduled for 8:40 tonight during their agenda. And you know, this question of, like I say, Black Lives Matter, whether it's flags and the like in the school buildings, pride flags are under discussion, and then I think there's some thought of reviewing the anti-discrimination statement that the school district issued a while back. So that's you know, that's part of the discussion tonight. It's gotten a lot of attention. I think it's gotten a lot of, as you've seen, press attention, sort of all over. And so, you know, I hope that we, in all of it, I just hope that we can somehow project that Newburgh is a welcoming community, and that we welcome and care for all who would like to be residents or visitors here. And that I hope that comes through loud and clear in the discussion tonight.
And
thank
at
you
least
for
in the
asking, Howard.
testimony.
Yes, there will be ample testimony, I am sure. I've heard there will be abundance of letters, etc. So yeah.
And do you know, Mayor, will there be time for everybody who wants to testify? I know that in some school boards, they'll emphasize students first. Is there a time frame and a time limit?
You know, I don't know. I know they were expecting quite a bit of comment, and I didn't hear anything about limiting it, so I don't really know.
Okay. And then Howie, did you have a follow-up?
I just wanted to ask, tell Rick something real quick. Newburgh doesn't come off as not being open to all of this, and your citizens are incredible. So no matter what happens tonight and beyond, it's Newburgh's not looked upon as being anti-discriminatory in any way.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Howie. And that's certainly been my experience here, that we've got a very caring, giving community that is, you know, I mean, people step up to volunteer, donate their time, everything. And it's been
Right.
that way. And that's really what I know Newburgh to be. And I think the vast majority of the community feels that way. So
Well, I think most people view it that way, Rick. So I appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
And to that end, Mayor, is there anything that folks here on the call and in the community can do to encourage the school board to keep things in place?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, if you've got, you know, if you have a lived experience that might be different from some of the people on the school board, that might be useful. It would be good for people to hear. I mean, I've written a couple letters, and from my vantage point, both as a coach at the high school, of a team that's pretty darn diverse, and what it might mean to those kids, and then wrote another letter more from the administration city sort of standpoint. that we want to attract, these jobs, like we mentioned earlier. We want to attract these family wage jobs, traded sector, and so anything that we can do to encourage that, I think, is hugely important. And really for Newburgh, just to show our true character, I think, is what we need to do. So yeah, so thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Mayor. Are there any other questions for the mayor? There's a lot happening in Newburgh right now, so some good, some neutral, and some ugly. So, all right. Well, thank you very much, Mayor. And then I'm going to go, because we have, feels like a special treat, is Jenny Burke from the McMinnville Public Library. Jenny, is there anything you want to share with people in the community today? She might not be with us right now.
Sorry, I had to answer a phone call, so I'm on the phone right now.
Well, we can come back to you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, great. All right, with that, I'm going to call on then Heather Miller on behalf of the McMinnville Downtown Association. And I'd love to know how the outdoor dining has been going this year. What are people on 3rd Street, especially thinking about, worrying about, talking about, hopeful about? Yeah, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Outdoor dining's been going really well. Biggest challenge right now is employees getting up to full speed in staffing, and then actually heat has caused a little bit of an issue, and we're going into another weekend that way. But everyone's getting really creative and finding ways to make that work. We did decide to cancel the farmers market for Thursday, just keep everybody safe and out of the heat for that extended period of time. General consensus downtown is positive. I think most of our businesses are feeling optimistic. I think there are some worries about restrictions. I don't think people are overly concerned about having to go back to masks, but I think people are hopeful that if we do go back to having masks indoors, that they'll be able to keep their capacities, because if we go back to capacity restrictions, it's going to be really difficult for people who have been in the process of hiring and then letting people go again. So that's sort of the vibe that I've gotten, that let's go back to masks if we need to and keep our businesses as open as possible, while still keeping everyone safe. But we have been seeing a lot of people, especially I think this last weekend, a lot more people, even though it's been warmer, still wanting to sit outside because it feels safer to them. So having that extended dining space has been really helpful for folks. I think that's it on our end. We are planning to have a modified UFO festival in September, so it won't be the full parade and everything like that, but McMinnville will be having some speakers, and we will have a small vendor fair. So not anticipating the large crowds like we see in a normal year, but something festive to hopefully look forward to. And then the Cruising McMinnville folks will be doing their event at the end of August. So they will be doing a car show on that Saturday, August 28th. So Dine Outside will stop for that day to allow for their event to go on, and then it will restart on Sunday. So yeah, a couple of things to look forward to downtown. Mostly outdoors too, which is nice.
Totally. I love that the dine outside will be interrupted by the car show, even though it'll still be kind of like closed to cars and then go back to no cars again.
Yeah. Collaborative closing of 3rd Street. We like to share that space. So
Totally. Are there questions for Heather? Well, you mentioned masks, and then I just checked, and yes, there is an indoor mask mandate order coming from the governor, which I was like, I got a heads up on, but only enough before the meeting. So it's good to see it's public now. And just for the record, I feel like it's the most appropriate thing to do is at the governor level, because there are so many different local public health authorities all across the state. We, as Heather knows, we share a microbiota with the rest of the state here in Yamhill County, especially on places like 3rd Street. So we're not isolated from one another. And actually, the thing I really like has stuck with me is out in the Klamath Basin, the water resources person for the Klamath Basin said recently, because there's a lot of wells going dry out there, domestic wells, and he said everyone affects everyone. And I was like, you're so right, but it's about the virus as well as about domestic drinking water. So yeah, thank you for updating us on that, Heather.
Hey, so Casey, a follow-up question if I could. So masked indoors, all venues, but the capacities are remaining the same. Is that what we're hearing, or?
As far as I know, and that was the information that was shared with me, is that and that's what I was advocating for. I was like, we don't need to hurt businesses, and we know that this is effective, and perhaps more so than some of the like how many people in a space, which, as Heather knows, it's so complicated and businesses don't know which one they're in. And so as far as I know, it's just masks, no other restrictions, no like social distancing or capacity restrictions. And then it looks like Kelly Menke is, I couldn't get Kelly, counselor from the city of McMinnville, on as a panelist.
That's okay. I know I'm late.
So,
I mostly am tuning in today because are you guys still doing the water council meetings? I have a person who's very interested in them, Lisa McCracken.
Yes. So if you can, Councilor Menke, if you can send me an email, or you can send me an email with their contact. So Water Task Force will be the Monday from now. So it's Monday, August 23rd, and it was going to be at Dayton Community Center, but it's going to be virtual. But we'll have with us an expert on groundwater from Oregon Water Resources Department, and he will go over groundwater monitoring, which is near and dear to the hearts of many people in our community, because if we don't know where it's coming from and where it's going, we don't really have an ability to know a lot about it. And then quality and quantity, and the difference between a domestic well and an irrigation well or a commercial water. And then he'll be open to questions from the community as well.
Sounds really good. Okay, thank you. So I'm assuming I'm going to get the notice, but I will try and get you her email.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything you would like to share from the city of McMinnville? Jenny Berg, on behalf of the library portion of it, is going to give us an update, but she's on the phone right now.
Well, actually, I go with Jenny's because she's pretty instrumental in what's going on right now at the city council. We are having a council meeting tonight. That's the best I can tell you. I'm going to have some interesting presentations and discuss revenue raising options. So just so you know.
Okay, that sounds great. And Councilor Menke, do you have a sense? Mayor Rogers talked a little bit about how the city of Newburgh is approaching their spending of the American Rescue Plan dollars. Have there been conversations at the city of McMinnville yet?
I do know tonight that there will be a bypass presentation, and I suspect there will be some discussion about that. It definitely is on the list of things to discuss, but all I saw in the prep information was just a rewording of how we were going to spend the dollars, what things we thought were important. So at any rate, but yes, this meeting tonight will should have people talking about the bypass. And I suspect they're going to have their hands out.
Yes,
I can confirm.
Yes, Dave Hageberg will certainly say local match somewhere in that conversation.
He won't have his hands out. He's going to have a bag with him.
All I can say is it's going to be much bigger coming to the county.
Well, my proposal, don't worry, Mayor Watkins, my proposal was that the county pay the share of the small cities. I just made it up. But that way, he's contributing something. It's coming from one place.
It sounds familiar, though. Really familiar.
Totally. And that really is, Mayor Rogers and I were right at the bypass this afternoon before we were on the call now, looking at the Newburgh-Dundee bypass trail, future trail. And it's abundantly clear that the city of Newburgh really needs to have the phase 2 completed. The congestion around the intersection of 219 has grown and grown and grown, right? And now it goes on sort of a street at 99, and that's really like going through the neighborhood that it does go through is an environmental justice issue. of phase 1 and then going through on Springbrook, I think is what it is, right?
Right.
So it really does need to get finished.
Yeah, and I'm so glad to hear about the trail and everything. I think that's exciting news. So, what is the timeline on that?
Did we?
Any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think got most of the money. I think. I mean, I'm sure that they'll. Speaking of ARPA money, I'm sure they'll be in for a little of that. But they've got most of the money. So I mean, I think it's really in plan stage, and they've got preliminary plans. So I think it's pushing forward.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad for you.
And I just realized I probably have a phone call in order then for the rest of the bypass trail to Dundee for this this infrastructure bill, don't I, Mayor? And then Mayor Watkins has a comment. Go for it, Mayor Watkins.
Oh, can you hear me? I'm just going to tell Mayor Rogers, we are so jealous of your trail. We are so envious.
I know. Well, we'll have to get a trail out your way one of these days, right? Or
Well, just wait until other elections come along, I guess.
yeah. Well,
That's funny because I will say that the when Waste Management's representatives talked to me about the landfill, and I said, well, it doesn't have land use approval. And they said, well, we'll just have to wait for another election then. But yes, I think that Mayor Rogers, your community is very fortunate to have this trail project happening, at least the first phase. And I'm so excited about the connection to Dundee. I feel like that of coming from the commercial core over by Fred Meyer down to the waterfront and then back to Dundee is incredible.
yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, again, it's the same thing. We need to get it connected then and get across Chehalem Creek, and then But yeah, no, it's a great start, and we're thrilled and good work by Parks and Rec to get it done, get the money, and working with ODOT too. We heard that loud and clear today, so that's cool. It's good, but it's really a regional project. Mayor Watkins, it's get people to come to our area, take the tour, go on the bike rides, and this is really it. So it'll be good, just like the bypass for all of us, I think. So.
And then Mayor Rogers, there was at some point a conversation in the trail discussion about connecting to Ewing Young too, but that's more of a challenging connection, right?
I think they've got it almost down. They've got it down to that development that's going on Waverly, I think it is, and they've got access down to Ewing Young Park now. So the challenge really there is the Chehalem Creek Bridge, which will be, that'll be a big thing because the Hess Creek one they're going to get done this first phase. The Chehalem Creek one will be significant. So that's where it is. But they do have access anyway, all the way to Ewing Young.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, Councilor Mink, is there anything else you want to add? And I do. We talked just a little bit earlier about the presentation from Eugene police officers that's coming this evening. Do you have?
Yeah, we are going to have a Cahoots presentation. Really looking forward to seeing it. I think our own police officers have a special unit that will have a presentation tonight too. But I'm really interested in what Eugene's doing. They're very creative, and we've gotten a lot of good information from them over the years. So hopefully it'll be good news for you too, Howie. So it'll be an interesting presentation. So I think it's going to be a really interesting meeting if anybody's interested in coming and listening to us.
I was just going to ask, is this going to be Zoom or is it?
It's on Zoom. If you go out to the city website, there's a link that you can press and then it'll take you to a Zoom link.
Great. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Councilor Minky, I would love to join, but I think I'm booked with a Newburgh School District meeting.
Well, that's rough, but what can I say?
Yours starts at 8, or the Newburgh School Board meeting starts at 8:40, right?
That's true. The part that I'm paying attention to. Yeah. Oh, sure.
Okay, the presentation I think starts at 5:30. So if you're interested in that, you could come early.
There we go.
Yeah. Our meeting starts at 7. So Should be good. What can I say? Oh, the bypass thing will probably be one of the first things in the meeting too. So if you're interested.
I think that Mayor Rogers may be able to skip that one.
Yeah, we heard Dave spiel like last week, so we.
Oh, he's hitting all cities. I must be serious now. As soon as the money rolls in, immediately.
Yeah, he's making the rounds, right? Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Well, I'm eager to find out if there will be any, what the route is, again, for this infrastructure. Apparently we have a trail, a bypass completion for phase 2, and at least a digging out of sewer ponds. And that's just on one meeting.
Sounds pretty exciting. It does.
Yeah, and now I'm like, well, what does the city of Mcminnville need out of this infrastructure bill?
Oh, there's so many things.
Like an activity, a recreation center, maybe?
Well, we actually are going to get a youth outreach. Is YCAP's working on that. So if you're talking about a youth type of thing, yes, that's in the project. But the recreation center, I don't know if we'd be spending our money, the ARPA money on this. But it's definitely in the offing and has a lot to do with the revenue discussions tonight. So.
All right. Well, good luck with that. I hope it goes well, Councilor.
Thank you very much, Casey.
Yes. And Jenny Berg from the Mcminnville Public Library. Are you with us? Are you still on your call?
I am with you, yes.
Welcome.
So in terms of the library, we have just not necessarily said official cooling center, but we're here and the AC's on and we welcome the public. So anybody can come in. McMinnville City buildings are now requiring masks for staff and the public to come in. So we have that posted and of course have masks available for people. We're still doing our home delivery of items, and our hours are currently Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then in regards to the city overall, well, the things that I feel like I'm versed enough in that I can talk about. One of our things that we're working on, and I think that the city council will see tonight, is a template for core services and base, mid, and optimal level of service priorities. And then, yes, also the ARPA fund dollars. And Kelly was correct in that the new facilities can't be used, the ARPA funds can't be used for the new facilities because they have to be more specifically pandemic related. And in the next weeks and months, we'll be rolling out various options for those dollars. That's what I've got.
Great, thank you. It looks like Howie has a question or comment for you. I did want to note, though, that what I meant is the U.S. Senate passed an infrastructure bill earlier today. So, yes, so, buildings, they like building buildings and digging out sewer ponds and building roads.
Excellent.
Hey, this is very necessary. I'm thrilled to hear it.
Yeah, and then Howie had a question or comment.
Jenny, I just wondered if you needed any additional water because I have 6 cases of water in the back of my pickup.
That would be welcomed. Yes.
I'll drop that off to you guys tomorrow.
Probably just a couple cases is probably plenty.
Great.
Thanks, Howie.
You bet.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. It's been great to have you here. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh yeah, I'm glad to be here. I was hoping definitely to be able to make more of these, but it seemed like I always had stuff scheduled at the time, so I'm glad to finally have made it.
It happens. It happens. And I promised some details on coronavirus and vaccinations in the county too. So we actually continue to average about 700 to 800 in that range new vaccinations each week. in the county, there's actually been overall in the state an increase in the rate of vaccinations as well. And that's without 12 and under eligible for the vaccine, which I learned recently there's 75 million people under 12, so folks who are still ineligible for the coronavirus vaccine. Case counts continue obviously to go up both in our community and across the state. And this last week we did see an increase in hospitalizations. And we did, OHA reported to us that 2 people who are residents of Yamhill County have died in the last week, or they're reported to have died due to coronavirus in the last week. So hopefully you can keep their families in your thoughts. It continues to hurt people in our community. And one of the things that from the people that I know, long COVID has been the most devastating to families. It has been one of the most devastating things because people never know when it's going to go away or when the next symptoms are coming. So with that, vaccines are the most effective tool we have right now for reducing the spread and reducing the impact to our community in addition to masks. The hospitalization rate statewide is well above what we saw this winter when there were lots of restrictions in place. But my hope, and we, as Heather mentioned, the mask mandate that's coming again, which I believe is, I don't know when it actually starts, that really should take down the fever of this virus spreading in our communities, because really we all are affected by everybody else. So while we might have lower rates here than other communities, and we have a lower test positivity rate right now, there are still lots of people coming and going from all our places. So out there, I just ask people to really consider, we're not over this, we're not done with it, and people are still being harmed by it. With specifically within Yamhill County, at the same time that at the federal level, the CDC was saying this is an epidemic of the unvaccinated. It really is. With the Delta variant and people who are vaccinated getting it, we are seeing people across the vaccine and non-vaccine spectrum getting sick with this virus. So really be careful out there. And remember that folks who may be vaccinated have children who haven't been yet. So again, it still affects many, many people in our community. So thank you. Thanks for putting up with my little spiel, because I think it's really important for people in the community to know that we still have this virus among us, and it is still harming people. It's hard to get a hold of Councillor Yarnell Holloman, for example, from the city of Newburgh, because she is really, really busy still with her work at Providence Newburgh. Those are real things with us. I hear lots of very tired nurses at our hospitals. So please think of them too as well. Just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. It's still real, it's still with us. Any last thoughts from the wonderful leaders here?
No, just thank you for your words, Casey. I mean, I think it is hugely important, and thank you. Thank you for reminding us. It's we all want to get over it, but still got a ways to go. So there you go. So thank you for that.
Yeah. And we did have, it was about 20% of folks in Yamhill County who newly were infected with the virus. 20% are fully vaccinated, but that was about 2 weeks ago. We're now at the point, or 3 weeks ago, we're now at the point where 5% of people who are newly infected with coronavirus are vaccinated. So 95%. And what that means too is that it's a really small group within our total population who are getting sick and are susceptible to getting coronavirus. So I want to make sure that people out there know, like, if you need to get a vaccine and it's been hard for you to track it down, or if you need to figure out how to take some work off and some time off of work, the vaccine clinics through Yamhill County Public Health can help you with that. Unidos has been helping people. Virginia Garcia has been helping people. Providence Newburgh, with making sure that you have the time, the food necessary if you need food during the time when you might have symptoms and side effects, to get the vaccine so that you don't have to quarantine for the virus, take time off of work, risk your family health. All right, well, thank you very much. And remember, Howie always needs volunteers for the cooling centers. Pauline always needs help with cooling centers as well. So let's take care of each other out there. I know these mayors and city councilors here, you're all really good at keeping track of people and making sure that they know when they need help and where to get it. So thank you for that. All right, and we will see you next week. And we're going to go back to 1 o'clock so that the mayor of Amity can join us here on out.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later. Be safe,
Thanks,
stay
Casey,
cool,
everybody.
wear a life jacket if you get in the water.